True Seeker. It is Saturday, March 14th, 2026. And once again, the top story is about six dead U.S. soldiers. Last Saturday, it was about a different six dead U.S. soldiers. And of course, Saturday is named after Saturn, the sixth planet, often represented with a cube, a six-sided object. And the U.S. is involved in its first ever joint effort war against Iran with Israel, whose symbol is a six-pointed star. Some people say I often talk too fast, so I'm going to make a point to try and talk real slow. Are you keeping up with all the sixes? All these sixes might even make you think of that Revelation 13 tale about the number of a man, the number of a beast. Satan. In Revelation 3, you get the story of the synagogue of Satan, those who claim to be booze but are not. It's a letter written to the Church of Philadelphia. You know, it's funny, Netanyahu graduated from high school in Philadelphia in June of 1967. And do you know what happened with Israel in June of 1967? They had the Six-Day War. The Six-Day War. In case you don't know about that one in history, it went June 5th to the 10th. And some people are math literate. They might be like, wait a minute, that's only 5 days later. Don't forget to count June 5th. Get out your little fingers and go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you should get to your sixth digit. It's interesting how June 10th is when it ended and the Yom Kippur War began on the other 10-6 date. Well, that's a whole other topic. But yeah, the 6-day war in the sixth month, in the month that Netanyahu graduated from Cheltenham in Philadelphia. So here's what else is interesting. Netanyahu, his birthday is October 21st. Remember, there's a verse in the Bible about the people of Shem, and the verse is 10:21. And remember when the October 7th incident happened, the first. It was me and Shem with the ocean blue eyes. But yeah, lastly, this was the video. Why 6 dead U.S. soldiers were returned on Saturn's Day. And literally, the very next week, this. But look at this. If you measure from Netanyahu's birthday to the beginning of the 6-day war, isn't it interesting that it was 228 days? 228. Does that remind you of a recent day? Does it remind you of February 28th? The day that the U.S. and Israel attacked Iran? If you're new here, Gematria, United States of America equals 228. And notice you can't spell Jerusalem without USA. But yeah, United States of America equals 228, and in Sumerian Gematria, death equals 228. And that's if you count the span of days. If you didn't count the span of days, it would be 227 days after his birthday, which is the 49th round number. Revelation equals 49. You know, the final book of the Bible where you learn about the synagogue of Satan and 666 and all that good stuff. But I was thinking about this, and that means that the 6-day war ended 232 days after his birthday. It was 33 weeks too when we go there, but the 232 is really interesting because in Jewish gematria, Satan equates to 232. And the English cipher, the synagogue of Satan, is similar. It's 223. It's a reshuffling of the same number. Remember, Netanyahu retook power on December 29th, 2022, at the very end of 2022, like there's 22 chapters in Revelation. Just days before 2023 began, 2023. In numerology, zeros are null values, so 2023 is very similar to 223. The synagogue of Satan equals 223. Philadelphia equals 223. I think all of this is evidence of how Netanyahu was chosen for the script. And if you don't know, that's not even his real name. His name was changed. A lot of these people change their names to get the right Kabbalistic numbers behind it. That's where this whole thing of letters and numbers comes from, is Kabbalah. We know who's traditionally into that. But yeah, all this six business. Let's hope they get this one thing wrapped up in 6 weeks rather than 6 months or 6 years or, God forbid, 6 centuries. But yeah, do you think they'll do another 6 ritual next Saturday? What's the over-under on another 6 ritual for next Saturday? It's just so redundant. And you guys, it is lucrative to know these things. The world of rig sports, it's all the same. You'll see the same patterns. Once again, cooking the bookies this weekend, taking advantage of the rig, but yeah, the patterns are super redundant. So, in case you forgot, last week we were talking about 6 dead U.S. soldiers. These are the people who crashed, supposedly in the refueling jet in western Iraq. And we covered this why it was confirmed on Friday the 13th, when 13th the 6th prime, but then they named the 6 on Saturn's day, the 6th planet. These people just won't stop. And remember, guys, you gotta get smart about the way the world works. Instead of getting cooked at the gas pump, like I said, the day that the war was announced, I said, invest in oil, invest in energy. The game being played, and you gotta learn how to play the game rather than get played by the game. And seeing through this propaganda is learning that as well. There's so many levels to seeing through the game so that you don't get played. Alright, I have the smoke slowly enough. We'll leave it there for now, and until next time, true see.